Qatar is rich. Very rich. When you visit Doha, the capital, you'll find glittering skyscrapers, supercars, and endless luxury goods. But just a few decades ago, Qatar was actually one of the poorest countries in the world. How did it transform practically overnight? To understand, you have to go back to the beginning. It all started with these. You're watching Top Flight Family. We're the Sognonvi family from New York City. And last year, we visited 21 resorts in 2021. Now that major cities around the world have reopened, this year we're visiting 22 cities in 2022. This is city number 3.
All we need is now. Don't ever let me go. We got the whole night. Just let me feel you close.
Ooh, oh wow, this is so elegant. Actually, that's not at all the order of how things happened. About a week before our trip to Doha, we found out that Qatar had put the US on its red list, which meant that all visitors from the US had to do a mandatory 2-day quarantine at a government-approved facility. We looked into changing our flights to come in earlier, but the fare difference would have cost us an additional $3,000. So our quarantine ended up taking up 40% of our time in Doha. Also, our so-called luxury quarantine apartment at the Bentley Luxury Hotel at Suites cost us $2,000 for 2 nights for the 4 of us. To call this apartment luxury was a stretch. This TikTok pretty much sums it up. Not only was the apartment in shambles, but 2 things made the quarantine especially unbearable. First, there was no coffee of any kind. Not even instant coffee powder. Not great when you're dealing with jet lag. Second, we had 2 bath towels to share between the 4 of us. That was really fun. No one at the front desk ever picked up the phone, and we weren't supposed to go downstairs, so there was absolutely nothing we could do about any of this. Oh, and we almost missed our flight completely, but you're gonna have to wait for our video about this Qatar Airways flight to hear that crazy story. And this is where I need to give you a fair warning. If you feel that any negative opinions in a travel vlog equate to entitled whining, then this is not gonna be the video for you. I believe that as travel creators, we have a responsibility to be transparent about the not so great aspects of pandemic travel and not just highlight the positive side. Traveling internationally these days can still entail a lot of risk and unexpected costs. So please know that I'm going to be sharing our experiences of that candidly in this video. To say that this trip got off to a rocky start is probably an understatement. Fortunately though, after all that drama, we got to check into this absolutely stunning suite at the beautiful Four Seasons Hotel, Doha. Wow. Wow, amazing view.
Oh my god!
Uh-oh. Let's... Oh, wow. Wow. Oh. That's so cute. Our first stop was the National Museum of Qatar. There's an exhibit here with projections of some incredible films that recreate the sights and sounds of Qatar's seafaring ancestors. You see, before the discovery of its oil and natural gas reserves, nearly half of Qatar's population made their living through the pearl diving industry. This was one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. Only about 1 in every 100 oysters yielded a pearl that was good enough to be sold, and divers would be gone from their families for months at a time and often return sick and malnourished. To keep up productivity, pearl divers would free dive to extreme depths of the ocean and be pulled quickly back up to the surface over and over again each day. This led to many pearl divers suffering from the bends, which could cause headaches, hallucinations, brain damage, and even death. We stopped by the museum's cafe for a snack, and after we ordered, this happened. Oh my god. It's a robot. Hi. Oh, she's coming back. Hey girl, we weren't done yet.
I wasn't finished. So cute.
We headed to Doha Festival City Mall, which is home to some of the city's top attractions for kids, like VIRTUOCITY, a 38,000 square foot gaming hub with VR experiences, escape rooms, and VIP rooms with spec'd out gaming consoles. Angry Birds World, an Angry Birds themed indoor amusement park with 20 different rides and 70 different arcade games. And Snow Dunes, a 10,000 square foot indoor snow park that's kept at 25 degrees Fahrenheit all year round with tons of tubing and other fun winter activities for kids. And that's where we ran into the next unpleasant surprise from this trip. Unbeknownst to us, Qatar had suddenly created a new COVID rule that prohibited any children under the age of 12 from entering any malls, even if both the kids and the parents were vaccinated, as we were. If you know anything about this part of the world, you'll be aware that most dining and entertainment options are based in malls because it gets so hot in the summer. Just about every theme park, arcade, and play space in Doha was based in a mall, and since kids weren't allowed to enter malls, I had to scrap half of my itinerary for this trip. Doha will be hosting the FIFA World Cup this November, so it's understandable that they're being extra cautious about keeping COVID cases down. But that said, I have never encountered a COVID rule like this one about the malls in any of the destinations we've visited. Normally, a good standby option for kids' fun is the hotel pool. Sean and Ella love swimming, so a good pool can keep them entertained for hours, and Four Seasons Doha has some gorgeous pools. Unfortunately, this also wasn't an option because for most of our time in Doha, it was unseasonably cold and rainy. Yes, rainy, in the desert. As you can imagine, the girls were pretty disappointed and frustrated by this point in the trip, but thank goodness for the concierge team at Four Seasons Doha. They got together to do some research and they found two really great kids attractions in Doha that were not located in malls, which meant that we could actually go. MEGAPOLIS is located in the Pearl, an upscale residential community in Doha. It's got classic arcade games, shooting and driving games, and a good selection of VR experiences. Oh my god!
I got hella rats.
The concierge team also recommended Doha Quest, a really incredible indoor amusement park. Most theme parks are just franchises of an existing concept, but Doha Quest was completely Middle East themed. The vibe was sort of steampunk time travel meets Arabian aesthetics. It was all camels and oryx and spinning gears. Doha Quest actually holds two Guinness World Records, one for the tallest indoor roller coaster and one for the tallest indoor drop tower ride. My favorite ride was Wings of Destiny. It was very similar to Disney's Soaring, but it took us through the history of flight with a special emphasis on the contributions of the 9th century aviator Abbas ibn Firnas. The whole brand and IP was fantastic, so I really hope they take this concept and franchise it all across the Middle East. to much better weather. It's crazy to think that it's actually rained the past 2 days. Apparently the last time it's rained like this is like 2 years ago, because you know, it's the desert, so there's not usually a lot of precipitation. But as you can see, the sun is out. This should be the first day with zero rain at all. Looks like there's not even going to be a lot of clouds, so definitely excited to experience Doha in a little bit more of a normal way. We met with tour guide and Doha local Lika to tour some of the city's main sites and learn more about the history of Qatar. Our first stop was the Museum of Islamic Art, where you can find traditional boats called dhows anchored in the port nearby.
The whole population of Qatar that we have here consists of two types of people. We have like people who were involved in the pearl diving and fishing, and we call in Qatar the society of Hadar. Hadar, and then we have also Bedouins. So modern Qatar is kind of combination of these two types of professions, two types of lifestyles, Bedouins and Hadar. Bedouin is just a tribe that was moving around in search of water and in search of some plants in the desert to survive. So afterwards, like after oil discovery, of course, these two societies kind of merged and Qatar was created afterwards as a nation.
Pearl diving was not unique to Qatar. It was the main industry through much of the Gulf region, including what's now the United Arab Emirates. But during our time in Qatar, I was struck by the lengths to which this country in particular pays homage to their pearl diving ancestors. References to pearls can be found everywhere in Doha. A prime example is this giant pearl monument. Even though Qatar has come a long way since its pearl diving days, it remains proud of its humble roots.
These DHOW boats were used also by pearl merchants. So these pearl merchants used to go into the sea to find pearl diver ship itself, to go there directly and to buy pearls from there in the sea. The biggest demand was coming from India, Bombay. That was coming from Baghdad, Iraq, Baghdad, London and France. So all the pearls that people were getting here was they used to sell in these parts of the world. It came to an end with two things that happened on an international level. One is World War I started and people didn't really care about pearls anymore and demand dropped for it. And another, which is more of a famous reason, was Japan invented the artificial pearl making method.
We moved on to the SOUQ WAQIF, a popular marketplace in Doha built on an ancient market site. Centuries ago, right in the spot, pearl merchants would sell the pearls they obtained from local pearl divers here, and the Bedouin people would trade their sheep, goats, and wool. Most of the original structures were destroyed in a fire in 2003, but it's been rebuilt to look just like a 19th century SOUQ. One of the most unique stores here belongs to 80-year-old Saad Ismail Al-Jassem, who is Qatar's last living pearl diver.
Apart from being a pearl diver, he was also a bodybuilder.
Bodybuilder? Oh, wow.
Yes, and he was
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
That's cute. I was sharing right from the beginning that all the pearl divers had to be physically fit.
Yeah.
So all of them were kind of a sportsman. So this particular guy was bodybuilder and local writer, local poet, bodybuilder and pearl diver. So he was like multi-talented.
That's amazing.
Person.
Most days you'll find him manning the store himself, but the day we visited, he wasn't feeling so well, so he was resting at home. After exploring the SOUQ some more, Lika took us to AKER Sweets, known for a Middle Eastern dessert called KUNAFA.
It's like a tumbleweed.
It does. Which one are you gonna try first?
The tumbleweed.
Okay. Ella always has to sniff her food first. So, what do you think? What does it taste like?
It kind of tastes like a really sweet croissant.
That sounds good.
This one looks like moss. Can you guys see it? It's very sticky. It smells like rice. Let's try it.
What do we think?
I like it. It's very sweet. But it kind of tastes like food. Like rice.
Yeah, it's like savory and sweet. Oh, it's good.
We headed to KATARA Cultural Village, a waterfront area with an amphitheater, museum, and convention center, plus shops, eateries, and a beach. So one thing that I'm really impressed by in Qatar is how they do such a good job of always paying homage to the heritage of this country, while at the same time very much embracing the modernity and all the progress that they've made. So right behind me, this is actually basically 2 pigeon towers. And it's really an homage to something from the old Bedouin culture, which is that they would use towers like these to attract pigeons, and then they would collect the pigeon droppings to use as fertilizer for soil. And so they've decided to actually bring these pigeon towers into this new development. And to me, I think it's a really meaningful way of saying, hey, we are this extremely high-tech modern country, but we haven't forgotten our roots. Okay, so we're here at the Pearl, which is a very high-end residential complex here in Doha. And the reason that it's called the Pearl is because this body of water was actually where the pearl diving would take place. And so by naming this complex the Pearl, it's just one more way that Qatari people are really paying homage to their ancestors who literally risk their lives every day to make a living by pearl diving. Now, as you can see, the lifestyle is a little different here. You've got tons of luxury yachts, tons of luxury apartments, lots of retail stores carrying designer brands, and this is definitely one of the most prestigious addresses in Doha. But primarily the residents here tend to actually be foreigners, so you'll find a lot of expats from the US, from Europe, who are working for international companies, and a lot of times those companies are, of course, paying for their housing here. But definitely not a bad place to live. Gosh, are we in Venice? I don't know. Are we in Venice or Qatar?
We're in Paris.
Paris. Just a few decades ago, Doha was little more than a sleepy fishing village. But all that changed when oil was discovered in 1939. By the time Qatar won its independence from Great Britain in 1971, it had a well-developed oil production industry. That same year, the world's largest natural gas field was discovered off the coast of Qatar, and that's when the country's economy really went into overdrive. Today, Qatar has the largest natural gas reserves in the world after Russia and Iran. And it's this, more so than even oil, that accounts for its enormous wealth. Its sovereign wealth fund, known as the Qatar Investment Authority, has an estimated $300 billion worth of assets, including real estate in some of the most expensive markets in the world. People often joke that Qatar now owns more land in London than Queen Elizabeth herself. Qatar now has arguably the world's best airline, and in November it will be hosting the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Despite these tremendous achievements, Qatari people haven't forgotten their roots. This is a country that continues to remember and honor their rugged, resilient, pearl diving ancestors.
All we need is now.
Okay, that was city number 3 of the 22 cities we're visiting in 2022. If you'd like to check out city number 4, just click that video right there. If you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Top Flight Family. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.